Hi guys, it's a rather chilly winter's morning here in Sydney, but sunny, which is good because I'm getting my new solar system installed. If you've been following along on the forum, you'll know that I've been talking about a solar system for quite some time, and yes, it's happening today. I'm getting a 3 kilowatt system with LG Mono X panels and a Sunny Boy inverter installed. Not doing it myself, paying someone to do it. It only take like 4 hours or something like that to install the 12 panels up on the roof, so let's go check it out. And here's some of my panels. 5 of them to be precise, and they're LG. There you go, LG panels, LG 250 watt, S1C-G3, 250 watts, voltage peak, what is it, 30.77 volts, there we go, 8.13 amps, VOC, open circuit, there we go. And short circuit current is 8.62 amps. Maximum system voltage 1000 volts, and maximum series fuse 15 amps. Under the various standard test conditions, all UL listed VDE. It's got all the requisite qualifications on there. There you go. Produced by LG Electronics. Made in Korea. South Korea, obviously. And yes, I believe they do have a diode in them to, you know, if one panel gets shaded, then it can bypass most of the power. There's going to be some loss there, but yeah, it can just bypass that individual panel that's shaded. And here's the front of the panel, and I was just told that apparently not everyone can install these LG panels. You've got to be a qualified installer, like you've got to actually be certified by LG to install these things. And there we go, for those into their solar cell construction, that's what these suckers look like up close. Yeah, so it looks like they go in a configuration like this, a string like this. You can see the metal down in between there. There it is, going between. There's 3 traces going all the way down, and then it gets down to the bottom, and there we go. 3 parallel traces, goes across, and then it goes up and up and up and up. Sorry if there's motion blur here for those who get motion sick. And then it jumps across there and so forth, and then it just goes, yeah. So it goes up here, down there, and then across to that one, and up and back. And I was just told that these panels possibly absorb light through the back as well, because they are, you probably can't see that on the camera, but they are sort of a it's sort of, you know, a semi-transparent kind of thing, so the light can actually come through. These are the Mono X panels, by the way, so these are fairly recent ones, I think, and there is one that has like a black backing, but I'm not sure of the difference with those. So there you go. I am told that these are the Duck's Guts panels, and they look really good too. So yeah, very impressed. Not that looks is a big deal, only the neighbours overlooking our house are going to see that, but because it's on the side of the house here, so we don't really get to see it when we drive in. And by the way, yeah, they're going to be on this side of the house, so let me see if I can, there we go, it's going to be on the roof up here. They're going to have to move the antenna cable. And yes, I've got terracotta roof tiles, so they're really annoying to get into. And you can see that the sun, it's winter time here, of course, and the sun is popping up over there. North's about somewhere there, so we could have put them on either the front of the house or over here, but this side of the house will get much more peak afternoon sun, so we decided to put it here. And we're not putting the inverter on this side of the house over here, even though we could put it on that wall. We might want to install another air con unit, but there's no eave there at all, and the inverter will get the full sun in the afternoon as well. So we've already got an air con unit there, and they couldn't install it by regulation. They're not allowed to install it here next to the fuse box because it's too close to the gas. We've got gas down here, there it is. So yeah, it has to be like half a meter or something away from the gas. And for those interested in my fuse box, here it is. Not very exciting at all. The panels are being installed today, but then they need somebody else to come out and install the new smart meter tomorrow. So yeah, won't be able to switch the thing on today, but there we go. There's our email, made in Australia, not Austria. Watt hour meters. I believe that's a off-peak hot water controller, but we don't have that. We've got gas hot water, so it's a ripple control receiver set. There it is. And we've got our earth leakage circuit breaker and our 2 aircon circuit breakers up there, and the main incoming 60 amp fuse up there. Yes, this is only a single phase. We don't have multi-phase here. It's all underground wiring, by the way. All the cabling comes in under our garden there somewhere, so if we ever have to dig that up, we're in serious trouble. So yes, we're going to have 12 panels total, 250 watts. We're getting a 3 kilowatt system installed, and here's the connectors on them. There we go. Can't say I've seen those before. They're obviously a custom, well, some sort of custom type. I don't know. They might be a standard in the solar industry. Do not disconnect under load. And there's our Sunny Boy SMA inverter. It's already mounted on the bracket here, and there's the LCD controller for it, and there's all the inlets. And we're just in the middle of getting it installed. We're going to have a breaker box.
AC.
That's the AC breaker box, which we're going to install. And there it is. It's a Sunny Boy SB 3000 TL-21. Looks really good. It's actually quite big. Go for it. He's got a hammer and he's not afraid to use it. All right. And that's going to be a second breaker for DC. Excellent. It'll look beautiful when it's done, so I'm told. We had the option to install it either inside the garage or outside, but inside we would have, we've got various things hanging up on the wall and stuff. It was just a bit more convenient to hang it up under here, and we do have eaves here, so it's a little bit protected and it doesn't get the afternoon sun, so that should be a reasonably good option next to the water tank, just in case it catches on fire. And that's the front cover plate on the Sunny Boy inverter. Got a really nice looking gasket on there to keep all the water out. These things are of course completely weatherproof, so rain and everything else is not a problem. And there's our DC breaker, so that comes from the panels. That's ready to go in, so there'll be 2 cable ducts, I think, coming down here. One will be the DC, of course. Yes, this is on the opposite side of the house, so they do have to run conduit right on the other side, so there are going to be losses, but as I said, the other side of the house wasn't that ideal because it'd get the full sun in the afternoon, even though this thing is designed, you know, for that, but they do recommend you don't put it in full sun. I believe there's a fan up in there somewhere, and there's the installation bracket for it. It's got 3 huge bolts on the thing, and it just hangs there, not a problem. And but yeah, they do recommend you don't put them in full sun, which it would have been on the other side, and also there was no eaves, and it was too near the gas, and we're going to install, maybe install another aircon system in the future, and yada yada yada. So we're just going to put it on the other side of the house here, and we have to run, you know, 20 meters of conduit, I don't know, 15 meters of conduit, 20 meters, something like that. So we'll just have to live with some losses there. And there it is, made in Germany. All my German viewers are jumping for joy. Yes, it is one of the best, if not the best inverter on the market, the SMA Sunny Boy, so I'm told. So I splurged a bit to get that one, and it does have a Bluetooth interface, so I'll be able to hook it up to my phone, or hook it up to the web, or do all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff with it, hopefully, to log and extract the data from it. So I hope it's worth paying the very significant extra for the SMA inverter. That's one thing I didn't really want to skimp on, is the inverter, pretty much, you know. Wanted to get a good quality one. And here's our conduit and various stuff. I guess they've got orange and white. One will be for the DC and one will be for the AC. I'm not sure what that looks like. That's big thumping. Well, there, can we get a shot of that? That's some big thumping copper right there. So that'd be your DC cable. I'm not sure of the no, there's no brand on that. Electrical cable, solar cable, specific solar cable. It's 4 square millimeters. I'm not sure. Yeah, you probably can't see that, but I can read that. We've got 4 square millimeter cable for that, and we've got some SLT brand cable here. This is also 4 square millimeter, and this is a single one which they use to wire between the individual panels, and the other one, of course, goes over to the inverter. And here's our bracket that's going to mount our panels. Can you tell us how it works?
Alright, so you slide one tile up.
Yep.
Now there'll be a tile, obviously sit on a tile like that.
Right.
So at the end of your tile, it'll sit onto your rafters like that, and then the tile on top will slide above it.
Slide above it, and
so
it just pokes out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
excellent.
On the rail here, I'll show you, is then this clips in like that.
Yep.
Then once that screws on, screw in like that.
And we're going to have 24 of those total?
Yeah.
Right.
Now what happens here is when you get 2 panels, that'll sit there.
Oh, got it, yep.
And then it'll sit obviously on the edge of the, so it'll pretty much sit like that.
Right.
And then this on the top, so when that sticks out, that also clips in there.
Yep.
And then you just screw it down, and that
Fantastic.
clamps the panels down.
Terrific.
Yeah.
And that's Chris. So we're going to put it on this side because it is better than the other side, which I think is 41 degrees or something. So this is 311, so it'll catch that peak afternoon sun much better. That's the plan anyway. Anyway, you only have 2 options when you've got a house like this. It's not like we can install it in the backyard. Because here is the backyard, folks, and well, you know, we don't have a huge amount of backyard, so we can't really install it here. There's our lovely backyard with all our Australian native plants. And not only are they natives, but there are some of them are local natives from our local creek. No, we didn't steal them at all from the local creek. The council actually cultivate these things, and we've got a lovely Banksia tree, a classic Australian flowering tree here. It's called the Banksia, and they are absolutely stunning when they're out. They're called candles. There's like a dead one, an old shriveled up dead one from last season, but these ones are massive. They can grow more than a foot long, 30 centimeters long on this particular tree. They are rather stunning. Haven't got too many at the moment. They're just clinging on there, but when it's comes out in full bloom, I guess, do you call bloom for Banksia trees? I'm not sure, but anyway, and so the inverter is going to be on that side of the house over there, so it's got to run, cable's got to run all the way over to the other side. It's probably further than it looks because this isn't a particularly big house. And here's the data sheet for our Mono X panel that we've got. There's our mechanical characteristics, monocrystalline technology. Each cell's 156 by 156 millimeters, and number of bus bars 3, and dimensions blah blah blah. Maximum load, weight 17.3 kilos each. I believe that's relatively light for one of these 250 watt panels of this size. There we go. 3 bypass diodes in there, IP67 rating on the junction box on the back side of it, and it's anodized aluminium with protective black coating, and there it's got a 10-year warranty and a 25-year linear power warranty. So there you go. First year 97%, after second year 0.7% annual degradation after that, and 80% after 25 years. That's what they're warranted for. There's the IV characteristic curve for it, and the power max, that is another thing. These panels do not like, well, solar panels, unless you get those little micro ones designed for lens-in systems, do not like to run hot. So the hotter they get, the less efficient. So at 25 degrees see there, that's what their rated output is. So if they get hotter than that, which they pretty much will on anything but winter here in Sydney, so in summer it'll get damn hot up on there on the roof, and unfortunately the power is going to drop. You know, they could easily get to 50 degrees or something like that, so we might only get like 80% power output. I mean, some people install like a water sprinkling system and have water dripping down over them, and they, you know, these sprinklers going all the time to try and cool the things down. So we're obviously not going that far. And we've got some temperature coefficients of the short circuit current ISC there, and V open circuit, and electrical properties as we saw printed on the back before. And LG Electronics here in Australia is just over at Eastern Creek, like barely 10 minutes from my place. So if they did design and build them here, I would have seen if I can get a tour of the factory, but unfortunately it's probably just a distribution and office complex. And then we have our mains cable as well. There it is, 4 square millimeter as well, so that's pretty beefy stuff. And that of course is 3 core. You've got your earth in the center there, and there's Sagan. He's helping out. And if you're curious to see what's inside a solar installer's kit bag, here we go. Check it out. There we go. Lots of electrical tape, measuring tape, some Allen keys, cutters, lots of cable ties. Got to have cable ties, and your requisite screwdrivers. And that looks like a multimeter. It's a Sanwa. There we go. Let's have a look. There you go, it's a Sanwa CD800A, 4000 count, and haven't seen one of those before, but cat rating, cat 3, 600 volts, nothing special. There you go, but it does come in a nice hard case, which you can just, of course, throw in your toolkit. And there's my time-lapse camera. Hopefully we'll get a time-lapse of that, and we'll see what happens. That's my B-roll camera, that's my other Canon. And that's a neat way to pull the cable. Just put it in a little crate there. You don't need one of those little stands with the reel. So that's a poor man's cable pulling stand, I guess. Just a milk crate. Beauty. There we go. We're going to have 12 panels installed right along there. And there's the brackets there. They just install on the beams underneath and then just pop out under the tiles. So there's no issue with water getting in and stuff like that. We don't have to penetrate any of the tiles, so that is really easy. And apparently my roof is bowed. I didn't know that. I hadn't really noticed it before, but yeah, you can see it with the railing. For some reason, due to the framework inside, I guess it just bows a bit. Not a problem for installing the panels though. And there we go. They've got little joiner pieces in there, and that's how what keeps the rails joined. And there's our AC breaker installed, and of course that just goes into the Sunny Boy into the line, neutral and earth there. Easy. And here we go, the panels are looking good. There we go, that's where it's going to pop through into the conduit. They have to put conduit all the way through the roof, it's the regulation. So that's our DC cable, and that's just going to hook up. The wires actually go through the railing down there. They actually, in the back of the railing down in there, they put the wire in, and there's the brackets, and it looks pretty darn good. I like it. Woohoo! Solar system. And we're going to install one of the clips. So that just joins both the panels together, and then it slides down. I better get out of the way. Otherwise, and there we go. So that just holds the panels together like that. Too easy. And they just screw them in. Awesome. This is the fun part. And there we go. And we've got 4 more left, and that's it. Takes up most of the roof, as although we think we have room for another 3 kilowatts if we really wanted to. We can move them a bit. Higher, but and there we go. we go, there's a bit of a close-up of one of the cells. Ta-da! That's it.
Good to finish it, please.
And all we have to do is join the cables up. And ta-da! There it is. There's the complete 3 kilowatt 12 panel array with the LG Mono X panels. And you should be able to see that the roof isn't exactly flat. You should be able to see a wave in those panels, I think, hopefully. So, yeah, oops. But anyway, you can't do anything about that. Most roofs have, I'm told, that most roofs have some sort of undulation like that. So, but ta-da, that looks impressive. Shame we're not going to see it. The house next door is going to see it, but we won't. And our DC cable has been pulled through there. That'll be the DC breaker, so we'll be able to just switch that off. Of course, the front plate will go on there with a key switch on it, I presume, and the cable will enter up in there somewhere. And ta-da! Yeah, there it is, my Sunny Boy inverter fully installed. Very nice, very professional, I like it. There we go, that's our AC breaker and our DC breaker. And we're just doing an initial startup test here. It's goes through an initialization procedure. It's temporarily hooked up. And we're just checking it out, and 456 volts open circuit and 7 amps short circuit current, no touchy. So there you go, it's actually producing just over 2 kilowatts, and of course we're it's only 1 o'clock on in June, the middle of June, so it's middle of winter here, so you know this is probably one of the best figures we can expect for winter. But this is our 3 kilowatt array, currently producing almost 2.1 kilowatts there, and the shade just came over then a second ago. It just dropped down to like 800 and then 500, but even when it was shady it was still quite, you know, the clouds came over. It was still producing, you know, 500 watts or so, so not bad at all. Is producing, see it's switched over to the second channel there. Now there's actually 2 channels on this thing, so we've only got one array. There it is, 345 volts, so that's what the array is producing at 6.6 amps, and of course we're getting out 8.4 amps there into the grid. That's what it's claiming. At 252 volts is our grid line voltage. Alright, it's the next day now, and well, the day after actually, and we've had somebody come around, the energy company, install the meter in the box, so now it's officially on the grid and producing, all legal and signed off. Fantastic. It's currently overcast here, and it's producing 660 watts at the moment. Very common to produce, you know, very overcast kind of sky. The sun is not directly on it. The wife reported this morning, she came out about 12 o'clock. It's currently about 1:30 or thereabouts, and she said it was up to 2.5 kilowatts, which is absolutely amazing, because those living in the northern hemisphere may not know it's actually winter here in Sydney at the moment, almost the middle of winter. So yeah, it's basically going to be as low as it gets for a 3 kilowatt system to be producing 2.5 kilowatts on a nice sunny winter's day is absolutely fantastic. Anyway, the graph we've got here is today's graph, so it obviously died off there this morning and has come back. So that's an hourly, I think that's an hourly interval bar graph, and that shows today's response, and it's produced a total today of almost 6.5 kilowatts. Fantastic. Some of that we've used, some we're going to feed back into the grid. I'll show you that in a minute. Total produced 0.11 megawatts since we've installed it a couple of days ago. So awesome. And well, since we turned it on, it's been tracking. So what we can do here is we can actually tap this. Okay, if we go tap, we'll see the backlight comes on first. Tap it again, and this changed to an E. So the bar graph has changed, and now it's producing a daily total. So each one of those bars there is a daily total. So you'll be able to, once we get more data in there, we'll be able to see that. So that's really quite nice. And if you tap it twice quickly, apparently It's, hello. There we go. Pops up with the firmware version. There it is. I'm not sure if I have the latest firmware or not. I'm assuming so. It's straight out of the box and comes up with a serial number and the net ID and Australian standard, I guess that is, 4777.3. No idea what that is. And English language. So there you go. I haven't been able to connect Bluetooth with this thing yet. I tried. It can see it. But I haven't been able to connect, so a few issues. But anyway, let's go around and take a look at the meter box. And here we go. Ta-da! So yeah, it's really kind of overcast now at the moment, but the fact is we're still producing enough energy for it to be useful. Now, here are our well, these aren't actually smart meters. I was under the impression that they were going to install smart meters, but they haven't. There's actually two of these, identical ones, and they're Itron brand. Never heard of them before, but Itron Ace 1000 SMO. And I've looked up the data sheet for these things, and these are not smart meters. They're just bottom-of-the-range dumb ones with the old electromechanical, tumblers there for the reading. Now, what we've got is one that's labelled DOM, this top one. I assume that stands for domestic supply, and that meter tracks how much energy we're using from the grid. So that's energy that we're going to pay for, and since it's been installed, we've used just over 16 kilowatt hours there. I think we average home here, last quarter we averaged 12 kilowatt hours per day. So we've used 16 since it was installed, and this one down here is the solar one. There it is, and this is the amount of energy which we're exported back to the grid. So this meter up here is the energy we pay for, and this meter down here is the energy we get paid for. So in New South Wales at the moment, it used to be 60 cents feed-in tariff per kilowatt hour. It was massive. The government went crazy on that, and but they've stopped that. Now I'm only going to be getting 6 cents per kilowatt hour feed-in tariff. So there you go. We haven't earned much at all, feeding just over 6 kilowatt hours back into the grid since it was installed yesterday. So and you can see that it's produced. There's 800 impulses of that lead per kilowatt hour, and as that, the sun's just come out. You can see it, and so now that lead should blink faster because we're using the same energy inside. So yeah, there we go, and that should tick over quicker. We're exporting, and I have verified that this domestic one up here does go Burko at night because we're not producing any energy from the panel, so we're extracting it all from the grid. But during the day it practically stops, and since I checked it this morning, it's only moved a tiny smidgen there because we're getting all of our energy from our panel. So this one down here for the solar one, let's say the solar panel is producing 1 kilowatt of energy, and our home is using precisely 1 kilowatt of energy, then this thing would not tick over at all because there's no excess to go back into the grid. So the whole idea is that you use as much energy during the day as you can while the solar panels are producing it, because you don't get paid much for it going back in. In my case, it's with Origin Energy, it's 6 cents per kilowatt hour. Endeavour Energy is the bigger group which own Origin Energy or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I don't own these things. They're the property of Endeavour Energy. And yeah, so it's better to use that energy during the day, when otherwise, if you feed it back, yeah, you get paid for it, but not as much as it costs you during the night when you're using up here. So this is like, I think we're currently about 26 cents per kilowatt hour, plus a green tariff or something like that. Don't quote me. And we only get paid, this one down here, 6 cents per kilowatt hour. So during the day, we're going to change our usage habits a bit. Things like, the dishwasher, the washing machine, and some stuff, and so we'll heat up the house during the day and stuff like that, keep it warm while the sun's actually producing energy. So it should really give us a good benefit. But yeah, you do have to change your usage habits a bit to get the most benefit out of this thing during the day, because this is a net metering system. It's not a gross tariff system. So yeah, we get paid for the energy, the excess energy, only the excess that we export, not the whole lot. So there you go. We've still got our old one of our old meters in here, but that doesn't work at all. That's for our off-peak electricity, which is, there's the off-peak electricity controller, as we saw. But we have gas, hot water. We don't have off-peak. There's my gas hot water tank. So there you go. That is my new solar system. I hope you liked the video. If you want to discuss it, jump on over to the EV blog forum. Best place to do it. And hopefully, once I get all the stats connected to my Sunny Boy inverter, hopefully I will export that data live to the web, or at least daily, and then you can track how much via the web my panels are producing. Fantastic. Catch you next time. Told that these panels possibly absorb light through the back as well, because they are, you probably can't see that on the camera, but they are sort of a it's sort of, you know, a semi-transparent kind of thing, so the light can actually come through. These are the Mono X panels, by the way, so these are fairly recent ones, I think, and there is one that has like a black backing, but I'm not sure of the difference with those. So there you go. I am told that these are the Duck's Guts panels, and they look really good too. So yeah, very impressed. Not that looks is a big deal, only the neighbours overlooking our house are going to see that, but because it's on the side of the house here, so we don't really get to see it when we drive in. And by the way, yeah, they're going to be on this side of the house, so let me see if I can. There we go. It's going to be on the roof up here. They're going to have to move the antenna cable. And yes, I've got terracotta roof tiles, so they're really annoying to get into. And you can see that the sun, it's winter time here, of course, and the sun is popping up over there. North's about somewhere there. So we could have put them on either the front of the house or over here, but this side of the house will get much more peak afternoon sun. So we decided to put it here, and we're not putting the inverter on this side of the house over here, even though we could put it on that wall. We might want to install another air con unit, but there's no eave there at all, and the inverter will get the full sun in the afternoon as well. So we've already got an air con unit there, and they couldn't install it by regulation. They're not allowed to install. Hi guys, it's a rather chilly winter's morning here in Sydney, but sunny, which is good because I'm getting my new solar system installed. If you've been following along on the forum, you'll know that I've been talking about a solar system for quite some time, and yes, it's happening today. I'm getting a 3 kilowatt system with LG Mono X panels and a Sunny Boy inverter installed. Not doing it myself, paying someone to do it. It'll only take like 4 hours or something like that to install the 12 panels up on the roof, so let's go check it out. And here's some of my panels. 5 of them, to be precise, and they're LG. There you go, LG panels, LG 250 watt, S1C-G3, 250 watts, voltage peak, what is it, 30.77 volts, there we go, 8.13 amps, VOC, open circuit, there we go. And short circuit current is 8.62 amps. Maximum system voltage 1000 volts, and maximum series fuse 15 amps. Under the various standard test conditions, or UL listed VDE, it's got all the requisite qualifications on there. There you go. Produced by LG Electronics, made in Korea. South Korea, obviously. And yes, I believe they do have a diode in them to, you know, if one panel gets shaded, then it can bypass most of the power. There's going to be some loss there, but yeah, it can just bypass that individual panel that's shaded. And here's the front of the panel, and I was just told that apparently not everyone can install these LG panels. You've got to be a qualified installer, like you've got to actually be certified by LG to install these things. And there we go, for those into their solar cell construction. That's what these suckers look like up close. Yeah, so it looks like they go in a configuration like this, a string like this. You can see the metal down in between there. There it is, going between. There's 3 traces going all the way down, and then it gets down to the bottom, and there we go. 3 parallel traces, goes across, and then it goes up and up and up and up. Sorry if there's motion blur here for those who get motion sick. And then it jumps across there and so forth, and then it just goes, yeah. So it goes up here, down there, and then across to that one, and up and back. And I was just